Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Natalia Leigh. I'm an indie author and full-time freelance editor, and today I'm going to be chatting about 5 of my favorite outlining methods. Mew is here already. Mew is already asking for food. She does this every single, yes Mew. Now she's going to go push the tripod around, as you can see. So today we're going to be talking about my top 5 favorite outlining methods. I have definitely used some of them quite a lot, and then others I've kind of dabbled in. Sometimes I've kind of like mixed and matched them because no outlining method will work perfectly for every single writer. And even like I have written, I don't know, 7 books at this point. I've published 4 of them, and I have used a different outlining method for every single one of them. So it's definitely not one size fits all when it comes to outlining. You might want to play around with a few different methods. And something that's really cool is that a couple of these methods will work even if you are a pantser. Yes, there could potentially be an outlining method for people who do not like outlines and do not like plotting. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into my top 5 outlining methods. Okay, the first outlining method I want to talk about is probably one that's not going to be surprising to anybody here on AuthorTube, and that is the Save the Cat method. Now, this was originally kind of created by Blake Snyder, and he did it for screenwriting, and I've never really looked into the screenwriting Save the Cat method. However, this one, Save the Cat Writes Novel, was written by Jessica Brody, and I have used this. Let's see, I definitely used it when plotting Whiskey City. Granted, I have not finished that book. I'm still in the 3rd draft of that. And I used it to plot my NaNoWriMo novel. This is a fantastic method. The heat just clicked off, so it might sound a little bit different in here now. This is a fantastic method for people who want a really deep dive into the outlining process, and especially for people who like following a lot of steps along the way and having somebody, Jessica Brody, there to guide you. Even though I have written like 7 books at this point, I'm working on book 8, I still like having that guidance. And of course, sometimes I know that I need to veer away from it. Sometimes I just need to put this book down and write what the story needs and what the characters are telling me to write. But if you want something that's going to really guide you, this is definitely going to be the book for you. It just breaks down different types of stories, different wants that characters have, needs that characters have. Well, primarily needs, I suppose, because characters can want all kinds of different things, but needs have a tendency to fall under like certain categories. So this will help you not only outline a novel, it can help you outline a series. There's like a little section at the back about writing a series. It can help you with your character development. So this is just a fantastic book to pick up if you are looking for a lot of really great information and a lot of guidance when it comes to outlining. I always have a link down below in my description if you are interested in picking this up, because I will always stand by this method. I love it so much that I always have it linked down below. So this is the first outlining method that I would recommend, especially if you want a really deep dive into outlining with a lot of guidance along the way. Except for Act 2, because that is where everything just gets so much more difficult. But still, this is a great one. Okay, the second outlining method, this one could work really well for people who do not like outlines and people who are pantsers by nature. This is something that I have developed through the course of doing a lot of manuscript critiques for clients, of course writing for myself, and then definitely through doing a lot of blurb edits. One of the services I offer through Enchanted Ink Publishing is a like back cover blurb edit. So not only will I copy edit the back cover blurb that my client sends me, but I will also go through it offering suggestions for revision, asking questions, stuff like that. And it has become very clear to me that it is often easy to pinpoint problems in a novel, even just reading the blurb. It can be really easy to discover that the story might lack tension, it might need more conflict, there might not be high enough stakes, and that's something that I can generally pinpoint and pick out just through reading a blurb that's 150 to 250 words. So the blurb method essentially is before you sit down to write your novel, or even after you've written it, before you start the revision process, write the blurb. Now, I have an entire video on tips for writing a back cover blurb. I will go ahead and link that down below. Now, of course, this is going to be a little bit different than a true back cover blurb because this is not going on the back of your book. It's not meant to go, you know, in your Amazon description to get people to buy it. It is to be used as an outlining method, so you can definitely go into more depth for the blurb outline, but you'll definitely want information regarding who is your main character, or who are the main characters in your novel. What does your main character want? Maybe what are they afraid of? What is standing in the way of them getting what they want? This is usually an antagonist, a villain. It doesn't always have to be. Sometimes, you know, it could be your main character standing in their own way, or it could be the environment, or it can be lots of different things. But what is standing in the way of them getting what they want? What is the conflict? What is the tension? What is at stake if your character is to fail to get what they want? You can put some information in there about the world, the setting, maybe the age of your character, depending on the age category that you kind of write within. So those are just a few things that you might want to include in your blurb outline. Definitely check out that video on writing back cover blurbs if you want a little bit more like in-depth information about this. And then again, remember, you can write this before you sit down to write your book, or you can write it when you're done. Because if you're sitting down to write your like blurb outline and you realize, oh my gosh, I don't even know what is standing in the way of my main character getting what they want. Right there, you've already pinpointed a major developmental problem in the novel that will absolutely need to be addressed on your next revision. So, like I said at the beginning of this blurb outline method can work for plotters or pantsers. All right, outlining method number 3. This is another one that will work really well for pantsers, and this is something that I have used also, and I call this the reverse outline. And essentially what you do, you're going to write your entire book. Maybe you use an outline for it, maybe you just write by the seat of your pants the whole way through. It doesn't matter for this one. So once you've written the entire novel, then you're gonna sit down, you might wanna pull out note cards, you might want to, you know, open a new document on your computer or get out your notebook, whatever method of outlining works for you, whether that's like pen and paper, a notebook, a computer, whatever it is. So you're going to get that out and you're going to sit down and you're going to read your book. You can do a fast read through, and as you are reading through your first draft or your zero draft, whatever you want to call it, you're going to write the outline of that novel. So instead of planning the novel and outlining ahead of time, you are building the outline off of what you've already written. So the reason this can work really well for pantsers is because you get to write that entire first draft by the seat of your pants. You don't have to feel limited by outlines and plots and trying to stick to what you wrote down in your journal. You can just write whatever you want. But once you're done with it, then you're gonna go through, you're gonna read it, and you are going to create the outline. And from there, you can start tackling your revisions, because let me tell you, if you are trying to do big picture revisions or even small like detail revisions later on in the process, it can be very difficult to do so if you don't have a coherent outline and a coherent guide for your entire novel. You know, if you're thinking to yourself, man, I know that I need to change this specific aspect throughout the entire novel, but I can't remember where that detail shows up, or I can't remember where I touched on this, you know, this specific plot point that needs to be changed. If you have this reverse outline as kind of like a guidebook for the novel you've written rather than the novel you want to write, then it will make your revision process so much easier. So both plotters and pantsers can use the reverse outline. And the reason I say that plotters can use it as well is because I've done this before. I can't remember if it was for Pistol Daisy or Whiskey City. It might have actually been for both. After I had finished the first draft and I went through and I did a very quick read of that draft, I opened up another document on my computer and I wrote down everything that actually happened in that novel in a clean, like cohesive order, so that I knew when it came time to revise what was present in every single chapter. And it really just helps you tackle the revision process without having to like do the search function on Microsoft Word or read through your book so many times trying to find specific details that need to be changed. So I would recommend the reverse outline for all writers out there, whether you are a plotter or a pantser. All right, the fourth outlining method is the 3-act structure. Now, I don't know if this was like specifically created by somebody or if this is just like an idea that has been developed over so many years of storytelling, but I was initially introduced to the concept of the 3-act, 9-block, 27-chapter outlining method by Catty-tastic here on AuthorTube/BookTube. She was one of my favorite booktubers when I first discovered BookTube. And then of course all of her NaNoWriMo videos. I have watched all of her NaNoWriMo videos, all of her writing vlogs, and she has a video from, I think it was from quite a few years ago now. I think I watched that video when I was in college, so many years ago, like 7 years ago, 8 years ago, something like that. But she has an entire video where she breaks down her outlining method and how she does the 3-act, 9-block, 27-chapter structure. I'm not going to go into detail because that's something that she really goes into detail about, and you would definitely get a lot out of watching her video. So I'm going to link it down below. Like I said, I'm not going to go into a ton of detail because I did not develop this method. Definitely make sure to go watch Catty-tastic's video. It is going to be linked down below. You will not regret it. Okay, the fifth and final outlining method I want to talk about is one that I just kind of developed over time, and I am calling it the inspiration outline. And the reason I'm calling that is because it's the foundation of it basically is your inspiration and your excitement for your story. And the way you would do this one, and the way that I have used this like process and this method in the past, is, you know, when you're getting ideas for your novel and there are those scenes that just stick out in your head, and you know, I am going to write this entire book just to get to this one scene that I'm really excited about. And hopefully it's not just that one scene. Of course, you can still use this method even if you just have that one scene. But hopefully you have a few scenes in your head where you're thinking, man, I'm really excited to write that. I'm excited to write the first kiss between my love interests. I'm excited to write the big battle scene. I'm excited to write, whatever it is that you're excited about and that you have inspiration for, put those down first. So if that's 5 scenes, great. You can put these on a timeline if you'd like. If you're a visual learner, for example, you might want to put them on note cards and put them up on your wall, whatever works best for you. But start with those scenes that give you the most inspiration, put them down, kind of in order. You'll know, okay, I'm excited to write this scene and it's going to be the inciting incident. So you'll want to put that at the beginning, and then, oh, I'm really excited to write the first kiss. This is going to be more the midpoint, and then I'm excited to write the big battle, and that's going to be at the end. So you can kind of lay it out like that, and once you have those really exciting scenes that you're feeling inspired to write, from there, you can start filling in the gaps and building your outline. So this is in no way a linear outline. I'm somebody who always writes my books in a linear fashion. I start at the beginning and I work all the way through to the end. But when you're doing an outline, you can jump around as much as you need to, and that's definitely the case with the inspiration outline, as I like to call it, because the outline, the foundation of it, is just going to be those scenes that you're super excited to write. And then from there, like I said, you just fill in all the gaps along the way. You can fill them in a little bit at a time until you have that full cohesive outline with those just exciting scenes kind of sprinkled throughout. So another fun aspect of the inspiration outline is that, especially when you're working through, let's say, Act 2, because Act 2, I always dread Act 2. It is so difficult for me to get through Act 2, at least until I get to the midpoint. But as you're working through Act 2, you'll know, okay, I have these 2 exciting scenes coming up. I'm just gonna keep working my way through it. I'm just gonna keep working at it a little bit at a time until I can get to those scenes that I'm really inspired for and excited about. So that, my friends, is what I like to call the inspiration outline. All right, so there you have it. Those are 5 of my favorite outlining methods, and this is in no way an exhaustive list. There are so many outlining methods out there. Like I said at the beginning of the video, no one outlining method will work for everyone, and even, no one outlining method will always work for the same writer, or at least that has been my experience. Depending on how I'm feeling, depending on the book I'm writing, I have played around with lots of different methods, and sometimes Like I said, I might mix and match them. So I might start with the inspiration outline, and then from there I might try to use the save the cat method. And then once I have that full outline and I've written my first draft, then I might go back through and do the reverse outline. So you can use many different methods if you'd like. I do absolutely hope that for you pantsers out there, maybe this was able to help you a little bit if you needed a little bit of guidance without, you know, needing or wanting to go into an entire outline of your entire book. So you can use, for example, the reverse outline or the blurb outline to have a better idea of what you're trying to achieve and what your intentions are without needing to plan out everything that happens in the novel. So I do want to thank everybody who voted in my poll. I put up a poll this past Monday asking you guys what video you wanted to see, and this one was the winner. So if you want to participate in the next poll, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below, turn on the notifications, and then you will see those polls go live in the little like community center. That's where I post them. And my new goal is to start posting a poll every Monday so that I always know what you guys are most interested in seeing, most interested in learning about, so that I can make sure I am providing that content to you. So again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you to everybody who voted in the poll. Let me know down below if you use any of these methods, or if you use a different outlining method, you can tell us what it's called, maybe what you've named it if it's your own creation. And I hope you guys have a wonderful time planning, plotting, and outlining your novels. All right, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!